Same, actually.
Welcome, everybody. Guess what? It's your Thursday night people that talk about a Marvel Crisis Protocol show. Wait, did I roll it wild? Your Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog. We got actually a whole bunch of really last minute surprises today, as well as probably some of your favorite people, because they're some of my favorite people too. My name's Tim, and this week I will be joined by both Dr. D, Dr. Dylan, Miss Dyer,
Myth.
yes. And that other voice you've heard, it's been a hot minute, but we're super happy to welcome back Dani.
Hello.
How are you both doing?
Super duper.
Amazing.
So, Dani got to play Taylor this past week.
I did.
Oh, yeah, the power phase.
That is true.
So, one of the things that we always start this show with... Oh, and let's just go over a few housekeeping things first. Sorry, before I get into that. So, as far as today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Immortal Hulk reveal that happened today that I don't think anyone was really expecting. Certainly not a second or third Hulk before Iceman. But we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about the organized play kit for Just the Parker Luck that apparently showed up in our LGS today. We were under the impression that was not arriving until Adepticon, but I guess it was going out with the Spider-Woman and Agent Venom boxes. So that's super exciting. In addition to that, we also have a new episode of the cleanup phase, that'll be coming out right after this on the Patreon. You can get access to that, as well as the other 5 episodes currently of the cleanup phase at any tier on the Patreon. It's available to anyone, even the $1 tier, even if you're a professional cake sitter. It's going to be a great time. We're going to talk about a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. We're going to go over an Elite 8 Showdown style bracket that was going to be super fun, as well as all sorts of really nice, cool stories. And, like I said, behind the scenes, behind the curtain, behind the soundproofing wall where my room is, down here in the studio basement. So it should be a really good time. Wow. Hey everyone as well.
Sup, chat?
Ravensguard, Alyssa, Otis.
Dang, y'all.
Taylor, Axel, Thy Dr. D. It's a weird name. Ice Dan.
Sounds made up.
But yeah, so let's get right into it with that thing that we like to talk about every week at the head of the show, which is games played and hobby thoughts. Dr. D, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What did you think of Dani and Taylor's game this past Monday on Oh Yeah, the Power Phase?
See, the big problem is you guys have your game on, chances I don't get to watch, so I never get to watch the power phase.
No, you can watch on demand, though, right?
You can.
VOD?
Sometimes I even remember to move them over to the YouTube. But
I was gonna say I'd never see. I don't know. Do you have a YouTube for that? Do you actually?
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not.
We don't even have the C in the name anymore.
We do. We hit the tier where it's like you can name it anything.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh, the C's still there. Oh, the C's still on everyone's. Mr. Beast has a C. Okay, I guess we're not gonna get rid of that. But now we have an @.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
you can just @professional casual and listen, we're there, baby. But
we're in it.
But that said, Dani, how did your game go against Taylor? What did you guys play? I know you had some theme lists. I know Taylor's writing some blogs about those particular lists as well.
Yes. So we played 16 Threat.
Nice.
New threats. I don't remember what they were. He's going to tell us in chat, but I can tell you who we played.
Paranoia was probably one.
Paranoia
of them,
right? And a sword one.
Sword base.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was all clustery and very close, which was really great. Mm-hmm. Not great for Logan because he wants to be away for when he has his massive panic attack. But yeah, Paranoia and sword base. Thanks, Taylor. He played a very fun, fluffy, unaffiliated list of Suit Up, where he played Hulkman Ironbuster. He played Crimson Dynamo, Arnim Zola, and who's the last one? I know it. War Machine.
Nice.
Yes, War Machine. I, with the help of Dan, was like, what can I do against that damage reduction? Let's go Pierce. Pierce Tavern, Weapon X affiliation. Right? So I did New Logan, Sabretooth, Apex Predator, X-23, Okoye, and Domino.
Nice.
Yes.
All right.
So, and I won in 3 rounds.
What was the final score?
16-11.
Okay.
I think so.
That was a
not
high-scoring
not
game
like
for 3 rounds.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
27 points, and that's impressive.
Did you play the original sword base?
Nope, it should have been the new ones,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep, we played all new stuff.
I'm saying, did you play the sword base before they changed it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I did. So it was a good one. It was a fun one.
Any super cool moments that happened in it? Did anything super cool happen to or from Hulkman Ironbuster?
Not really. So that was kind of the thing where, like, he was scary, but I just kind of was like, I'm just not going to mess with you. Because, like, the more I damage you, the more power you get, and then the more that you can just blast my face off. So I don't want to do that.
That's true.
With the adamantium skeleton underneath on some of my characters. I just don't want to do it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, you could keep powering him up, and because of the healing factor, he could keep blasting your face off after it heals back.
Exactly. It's just this repetitive thing. I did position Sabretooth in a way, and he kind of did exactly what I was hoping. He was scared of Sabretooth, so I was like, all right, Sabretooth, go and, like, be distracting and be, like, the brunt of all that.
Yeah.
So he did end up getting dazed, but everyone else, you know,
very
great.
Legitimately, I think on the table, I might be more worried about Apex Brother Sabretooth than Hulkman Ironbuster.
Yeah.
Like,
because he's gross.
He does like 19 things.
It's insane.
And then he's going to throw, and then he's going to pounce, and then he's going to attack you twice, and then he has places, and it's like, wow, all right, dude's got a lot of things to do at once. He's doing a lot of things while he's getting a sourdough starter right there, you know?
I think one of the threat on Hulkbuster is just the intimidating size of the model.
For real, honestly. Like, that is the scariest part of him, where I was like, meh, I don't really want to. Yeah. So, unfortunately for Taylor, like, he never really got the opportunity to really, like, showcase what that character can do, which I felt a little bit bad about, but not really, because I didn't want to deal with it. And I also didn't want to be there for 3 hours because you know how Taylor and I are.
Listen, so, like, very specifically, on a Monday night, if I am playing Taylor, Lindsay is always like, so you're going to be home at, like, 1, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't know. Like, we'll probably play a pretty quick game. And then we had, I think at one point, we had a game finish up by, like, 9.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, right under 2 hours. And, then we still talked in the parking lot for 2.5 hours.
Literally, when I got home, Dan was like half asleep, and he's like, "Did you guys talk on the parking lot?" I was like, "No, we stayed in the store where it's heated."
What's the new store like?
Oh, it's beautiful. There's like just one wall of like just huge windows. It's so nice. It's so pretty.
It's nice and bright too, so like when you drive by it, you can see like a whole bunch of people gaming, so it like kind of makes it like a really inviting spot where
for real.
You're like, oh, there's a bunch of Magic players up there. Okay, well, I'll go stop in for a bit.
Yep.
So
sure.
It's pretty cool. I mean, and great question and segue, Dr. D, because if you're curious about maybe a time that you could check out the new Bearded Dragon games and hobbies, there's would be a great time to do it, and that's going to be next Saturday, February 18th. You can check the Facebook link down below to find the event for it, but we are going to be running an LVO qualifier next Saturday. Dr. D, Brian Watson are going to be there, as well as me, Taylor, Dan. Danny's going to stop in for a bit.
I'll be.
We're going to have Ben and Alyssa. I think this is going to be actually a super cool kind of regional thing for us, where kind of all of the people that you've seen from around the network or just know from other conventions are going to be hanging out and having a good time.
Can we talk in the parking lot?
We're going to talk in the parking lot for like a hot minute.
Right. The parking lot's nice too. They just rebuilt it a couple of years ago.
It is. I'm hoping we might see Keebler there. That would be super cool.
Keebler.
Or I don't know. There's a lot of people I'd like to see.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if Matt Alex or someone came down, or.
I think Matt said he wasn't coming.
I think he had something else like specifically going on.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah. So that is happening next Saturday, February 18th. There's a Longshanks link for it. $10 entry. First round will start at 11 a.m. Depending on how many people we have, it could be 3, 4, or 5 rounds. I am expecting probably at least 4 rounds because I'm expecting at least 16 people there. So should be a great gosh dang old time. Speaking of, Dr. D.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you have hobbied this week to prep for that tournament next week? That LVO qualifier at Bearded Dragon Games?
So the road to not looking like a doofus has begun. The road to getting to LVO qualifier has begun. So I've kind of reworked the roster and bringing back the Wizards.
Yes.
So I've decided that with some of the new additions, there's a couple things I need to finish up. I'm going to test out, because me and at least one other person have been hypothesizing that Red Skull is going to be a great honorary wizard. We were going to give him like a little wizard cap, put on his little red hat, little red
Love
head.
that.
And then I put on my robe and wizard hat.
And so hopefully he is some secret tech that I think might make wizards pretty solid and make it so you can get the book back quicker and all that. But I got a couple models I got to finish. Otherwise, I'll kind of just pop up with stuff I've already been using. But hopefully the other Rhino. So if you see the Rhino that I bring, it'll be the one for the tutorial.
From the blog.
It's coming. The blog is coming. I'm sorry, I moved in the middle of it, and then I've been waiting for plugs for my lights, so I can't finish painting it because I can barely see it because of the lighting. I'm sorry it's been taking so long. It's almost done, I swear. Once I get the lights, I can crank it all out in one night because the article's essentially already written.
But speaking of blogs, you started one of your blogs came out this week about that road to LVO. That if you
the road to not looking like a doofus. That's what I'm saying. So now, what I noticed on Facebook, something that would repeatedly come up is people are, especially now that there's so many affiliations. Like when this game first started, it was like, hey, you play Avengers or Cabal, like those are your options. Now, if somebody is like, I don't want to buy the core box, but I want to play X Force, what is the thinking that should be going through their brain to essentially make it, if not like LVO level, but at least give you some like thinking points, I guess.
Yeah, because they're going to be playing X4, so they're certainly not going to be at the LVO level.
For sure not. And so don't even get me started on that. Anyway, so the thinking behind it is it's going to kind of go through my thinking process from starting a roster and then essentially playing from now until LVO, and if I make any switches or like maybe I switch affiliations to like practice to play against it. But more than likely, when I go to LVO, I'm either going to be playing Hellfire Club or Convocation. So it really just comes down to how good Hellfire Club's going to be.
Cool.
And so I know, were there any reasons why you kind of doubled down on Wizards out of the gate? Was it you wanted to get back to Wizards, or because you knew that Emma Frost was going to be so awesome in Wizards that you just wanted to play them both?
So thankfully, I don't think it matters what I choose. I'm going to be using Emma because I think she's good in both. What really happened was there was a local con. So Captain Con was local in Rhode Island, and let's just say that I was playing Defenders, and I was like determined to be the Defenders player that could make it all the way to the top. But what happened is I hit this thing called the wall, and I wanted to take 2 bricks and make my head a lot smaller between the 2 of them because playing them is awful. I really hope AMG do something about that soon. That'd be nice. But so I decided to go back to what I was good with, which was Convocation. They have enough tricks to keep me interested, and they're kind of like a weird dark horse you don't see very often in Convocation. Like most of the time, because I think at LVO there was 3.
There was. Finger Guns got best in affiliation for it too. And I was talking to him at one point at LVO, and he was like, "Yeah, just gonna go for that best in affiliation. I'm gonna finger gun some wizards, and it's gonna be a good time."
So when I show up, that's my whole goal, is just to be in the invitational. So it doesn't actually matter how well I do. That's the first step to not looking like a doofus, is at least getting there for once.
So yeah, step 1 is to head to Bearded Dragon Games and Hobbies next Saturday, February 18th. And listen, that is going to be the first LVO qualifier of the year as well, as far as what's actually on the map. So you might, or first qualifier that's like not this year's LVO.
Correct. And then I think
we start 1 hour earlier than the other one that starts that day. So we are officially the first.
It's like the twins that come out, the first one that comes out is technically the oldest. Yeah. And then I know Midgard is having a qualifier March 11th, I think. I don't know.
And they're like pretty full up for it too. I saw Brian's post that there's only 8 slots left.
Wow.
So if you are in the New England area, join that.
Yeah, you're going to want to get in on that.
Be defeated by wizards.
Potentially get beat.
If you know what's good for you.
You're gonna be beaten. I'm gonna send you to the Shadow Realm. But yeah, and then the painting gallery that ended. So right now we're in the middle of voting. If you're part of the Fury's Finest Discord, you can vote on the winner. I did post in the MCP group on Facebook all of people's hard work. If you would like to see some of it, there are some phenomenal entries in there. I will say this is the 3rd one, and every single time it gets more and more impressive. Yeah. Like nuts! It's so good. So if you are very curious, go to the MCP group for Facebook, and it's in there somewhere. Or join Fury's Finest, and you can even vote. And then if you can enter for the next one. So next time I'm on here, more than likely we'll know what the next theme is, and I can announce it on here as well.
Beautiful, because that was going to be my next question.
Good.
It was
I
if you knew.
read your mind.
I'll save it. I'll save that question for another time.
It's like I'm Emma. I've read your mind. I am also a wizard.
Ooh.
You're also as hard as diamonds sometimes. You know what I mean? Just,
We'll talk about that in the parking lot. Maybe the back parking lot.
yeah, that's a
That'll be the parking lot talk.
correct.
Yeah. Take it over to the dumpster.
But
It's dark over there.
to get right into it for this week, because we have a lot to cover. Yesterday, right? I believe AMG put out just a little teaser, a new model that's going to be coming probably sometime in the first half of this year. Immortal Hulk.
Yes.
Did either of you have any anticipation of another Hulk being introduced that wasn't like Red Hulk or something like that, but was just another? And he's not another Hulk.
Right.
He is a different part of the same Hulk. But
So I know that Dallas specifically stated that at some point soon there was going to be another Hulk and there was going to be another MODOK. He also said that I think he specifically said they were not going to be the same threat.
Okay.
So this Hulk, I'm going to guess, is probably going to be more. There'll probably be like a 7 or an 8. I'm sure that's subject to change, and of course I've been proven wrong plenty of times in my life.
you've been proven joking before.
Right.
Yes, yeah. I've just been proven not to be correct. I wasn't wrong. I just wasn't right.
So, and that's the thing too. So, when I think of Immortal Hulk compared to regular Hulk, so I don't know a ton, like a massive amount about Immortal Hulk, but Hulk has kind of a couple different personas, or Banner has a couple different personas in him. There's been the Savage Hulk, which was kind of the, what's from Mice and Men? Lenny?
Lenny, yeah.
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of
Lenny.
the simple, just, he only has 2 modes, pure joy or pure rage Hulk. That was the Savage Hulk. You have regular Hulk. There was also the Green Scar from Planet Hulk. That was a persona that was made to kind of survive Sakaar. And then obviously there was a lot of ramifications when he got back. But Devil Hulk was another one that was kind of really dormant for a while, just kind of biding his time. And there was a point where I think something happened to Banner, or he was dying or something, and Devil Hulk got to kind of take over, ended up becoming the Immortal Hulk. And he's called the Immortal Hulk for a number of reasons. But one is he can in fact be decapitated and put in jars and will be fine and will eventually reform. So I don't know if they're going to be able to mix that into his threat. I would be really, so here's what I'm kind of anticipating, or this is what I'm expecting, is that he will probably be a higher threat, and it may be a Hulk that maybe doesn't have 20 health, but maybe he never flips in a way where he just resets. You know, if you daze him, he just removes all the stamina, or maybe removes power or something, maybe gets a token that changes how some of his abilities work. I think he'll be like an ultimate encounter in regular gameplay is what my expectation is. Who cannot be removed from the field.
Yeah.
What I would even say, if he's tough enough, if he's a 7 threat, maybe you get a victory point every time you daze him.
Yeah.
Right.
Something simple like that.
Actually, I kind of like that. If, you know what I mean? It kind of gives you another level of counterplay to a really overwhelming model.
Yeah.
And the sculpt on this thing also looks awesome.
Incredible. And looking at the back of the box, I definitely think that there is going to be some other like aspect to him, because he does come with a token sheet, 2 team tactics cards as well, and a stat card, which duh.
Okay.
But so maybe they are going to add like another like level to having him on there, like you said, kind of like an ultimate encounter just there.
And I think that would be...
It could be as simple as just Hela.
Right.
You know, tokens, rage tokens.
Yeah, right. Something like that, but definitely another level. That'll be fun. And like you said, the sculpt, this is a really awesome Hulk model. I feel like this is kind of what people were hoping for.
5-head Hulk. You know what I mean? Not just the regular 4-head like the regular one. This one's got 5.
We got a 5-head. Look at the
he's going for the grand not the grand slam, the slam dunk.
Yeah.
He's a basketball player.
The jumping buffalo punch. Something I'm super into.
As someone who looks at anatomy a lot, his underarm muscles are intense.
Actually, they're on his arms.
They sure are.
Not
How'd they get there?
They're
Little
not
scamp.
They're not camping.
But yeah, I would absolutely expect a 7 or an 8. I think that would be super cool. Adding new additional mechanics. So, and here's what I'm really excited about with Immortal Hulk, right? So if they do go with a higher threat level that's a little bit more overwhelming, and they start adding some mechanics to be able to fit in characters like Galactus or Hyperion or Sentry, some of these like just absolutely massive, huge, intensely cosmically strong characters, and by adding some effects into them to kind of make them playable, we could be seeing kind of the initial run of that, which I think would be really exciting to see kind of what stems off of this. Because when we see AMG introduce something new, it's normally kind of as a dipping their toe in until they kind of see how it plays out. They adjust it if needed, but then they can kind of expand on that idea. And I think Immortal Hulk is probably a great way to start that, because he's not, you know what I mean, Galactus or Stiltman or someone that's just on another world of power. He's certainly very strong, but he's also immortal, I heard.
He sure is. You can hit him really hard and he just gets right back up. I know the only thing that I've heard about the comic that this run is from is it's like one of the best Hulk runs ever written.
Yes.
It's like apparently amazing, and apparently it's body horror.
Yes.
Which is super cool. You don't see that in comics very often.
Yeah.
At least in Marvel.
Yeah, and especially from a Hulk story too, right? That's maybe in an X-Men, maybe some Cassandra Nova, maybe some of that type of thing, but not in a Hulk story, not in an Avenger story. But I'm super stoked. Any other speculations on what he might have? I don't anticipate him being his own affiliation leader.
No.
I know there's speculation about what affiliation he might even be able to be included in. I don't know if we get Agents of Smash or something at some point, and he could be a part of that, but he might just be straight up unaffiliated.
Yeah.
Or Cabal.
Cabal. I don't know about that. But, the only thing that I hope is the case is that I hope his builder is just called Hulk Smash, and then I think his spender should just be Hulk Smash in all caps with more exclamation.
More A's. A lot more A's. Hulk Smash!
So whenever you go to cons, the things you really hope to hear are people screaming Gene, the fact they got Fearful Symmetry off, and then you're going to be looking for Hulk Smash when he comes out.
He was a bad guy in Immortal Hulk. Immortal Hulk was not the whole Devil Hulk persona is very much not a super chill guy. I mean, he is actually super chill. Like he's super able to lay in wait. So as far as high energy, low energy, he could be considered that way. But
I wonder if there will be some kind of handicap worked in, because we're all imagining he's going to be a really high threat. He's going to have these incredible attacks. I wonder if there's going to be something to really just encapsulate his blind rage, and he's just going to attack the nearest enemy character. You don't get to target them. He's just going to go for whoever
he targets the closest thing within range 2 at the start. His first action has to be that or something.
Yeah, something. I wonder, because otherwise I feel like this is just going to be Malekith all over again, where that's all anybody's going to play for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, and I think they've learned their lesson, from Malekith, right? So I think if they're going to implement something, that it's going to be in a post-Malekith world.
Yes.
And it could be all these models that have been having downsides lately could be testing for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a very good thought, actually, Danny.
Thank you.
It was really good.
But yeah, Otis says he's super intelligent too. So there's in the really in the MCU, the current Hulk that we see, right? That's the perfect mix of both. Immortal Hulk is in fact that, and he's immortal and super evil.
Yeah.
So, but this was kind of Immortal Hulk kind of came out at the same time a lot of those other hero flip stories came out, like Superior Spider-Man, where it's Dr. Octopus as Spider-Man, Superior Iron Man, where Iron Man just decides to use nanobots and a symbiote to just do a whole lot of awful things.
Yeah, as you do.
But listen, if people are willing to pay for it, was kind of his motif. He's like, yeah, they can take this nanite injection and they'll be super hot and they'll never gain weight and it'll be super awesome. And if they don't pay, they'll blow up.
Yeah.
So just pay your monthly fee. It's only $100. I think it was $3,000 or something ridiculous.
God.
But yeah. But yeah, so moving on to just the Parker Luck. We were under the impression that this was coming out at Adepticon. It doesn't, and maybe got sent out earlier, maybe got sent out by mistake, but our LGS had it, and we've seen a few other LGSs that have had it as well. So we're super excited to dive into it and go over it. So if you checked out Wait Till I Roll Wild a couple weeks ago, we went over what was kind of like teased. And there is, we assumed that there was certainly some stuff missing from that initial kind of foray into it. But long story short, the ultimate, or the crisis threat, is actually Spider-Man playing against 2 teams of 10 threat each, building squads and coming at Spider-Man to try to unmask him and take pictures of his face, or have him take pictures of his face. They will also be trying to disrupt a convention and using all of those people there for a Spider-Man meet and greet, kind of against Mr. Parker. So some of the things that we have found out now that we actually have our hands on the kit is that, actually that was a confirmation already, was that it is 2 squads of 10 threat. This might be the lowest cosmic threat encounter that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I think separation anxiety was the current lowest, and that was 4 players at 11.
Yeah.
But I think that's super cool too, especially with kind of the groupings that you're going to want to be taking against Spider-Man in this particular setup. That gives you a good opportunity. You could do Hulk and Rhino, or you can do Bullseye, and I guess the Spider foes and Criminal Syndicate have a very good setup to make 10 pretty easily.
Right.
A couple 4s and a 2, and it's not overwhelming. Or 2 5 threats. That's right. Yeah, everyone's going to be running Cable here, probably, and Juggernaut. I actually don't think that that's an awful.
Or 5 2 threats.
That's true.
Oh.
Yes, because how many 2 threats are there now? There's like 10.
There's 11. I think I counted not that long ago. I think it's 11.
Nice. So yeah, so you can have 2 people running 5 groups of, or you can have 2 people running 2 groups of 5 2s, which I think is super exciting. So we are going to be running this organized play kit as well on Monday. I haven't confirmed this yet, but I assume it'll probably be me and Dan. And if it's only 2 squads of 10, then one person can just run both of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just like a regular roster. That's just like you're just playing super powered scoundrels.
Oh, that's right. You can play it, can't you? Because you have it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even. You know what? It's weird. I didn't even draw that connection. You can if you have it, you can use it.
We had a conversation earlier where I was like, hey, during the tournament, maybe we can play some Just Parker Luck while we're there as well.
Why am I so dumb? I'm a big doofus.
Because you're a wizard, man. You got to focus so much on them spells.
Right. You're just channeling, that's all.
Yeah, Dan actually put a really good roster in there, and that was one of the things I was thinking of. Kingpin, Rhino, and Bullseye is super narrative, right? And just like fits right in a really good sweet spot for that.
9. There's 9 2 threats.
Ooh, I love that narrative.
Oh, there's only 9?
Yeah.
That's a dang old shame. All right, so you just slap 2 gems together, and it's a new 2-threat character.
There you go.
It's just
2 tennis balls rolling around on the floor that, technically have recalibration matrix on it. But so when you are playing this, the Crisis team is considered to be a Spider Foes affiliation, right? Because you are tag teaming up against Spider-Man. And because of that, you have a new affiliation for Spider Foes called Scare Tactics. So once per turn, when an allied character ends an advance within range 2 of a con-goer, it may spend 2 power. If it does, it may place the con-goer range 2 away from its current position. So we saw this a little bit before about moving con-goers and stuff, and that was kind of something that you were going to need to do. But it is just the straight-up affiliation ability that you get. And let's see. These squads are affiliated Spider Foes regardless of their members and must use the following leadership ability. This leadership ability is not attached to a specific character and is always active. So there's no way to get rid of this. And it is my understanding that you are also not bringing your own leadership abilities. It is replaced with this.
Correct.
So some of the other things that the Crisis team can do is they can interact with con-goers. If a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is not within range 2 of this token, place this token within 1 of its current position. So we've seen this a lot recently, right, as far as Rhino just bashing people around and throwing stuff. Juggernaut certainly doing the same thing with Do You Know Who I Am? And it's interesting that it is an interact, so it's not costing an action, it's just costing a single power. And it's just kind of a toss to the other side or a little bit further away, which seems like it's going to be incremental kind of throughout the course of the event, and there are only kind of a few different places. So congoers get placed. There's going to be 5 of them, and they are placed within range 3 of the center stage, which is dead center in the center of the field, but not within range 2 of another congoer. And once all congoers are placed, if there are starting cameras, which is dependent on the difficulty, the Cosmic Threat player places 1 camera token per starting camera onto the battlefield. Camera tokens must be placed on a terrain feature. Danny, do you want to just take a look at the difficulty and like from narrative up to Rent is Due, which is an incredible name for a difficulty setting?
Yes.
How many team tactics cards each person will be getting, and how many starting cameras are initially in the game due to that difficulty?
Yeah, so if you're just playing the narrative feature, you get 3 team tactics cards and 0 starting cameras. Normal is down to 2 tactics cards, still 0 cameras. Hard, 2 tactics cards, 1 starting camera, and Rent is Due is 1 tactics card and 2 starting cameras. I think you and Dan should play Rent is Due.
Really?
Yeah, why not? I don't know. It sounds fun.
It does sound fun, and so, but that's the thing is, who gets to play the crisis threat with Rent is Due?
Right.
That would be an uphill battle for whoever is playing the crisis team.
Yes, for sure.
I'll send it.
All
That's
right, why
fine.
not?
Dan
Yeah.
could be Spider-Man. I think he would probably want to try Spider-Man
Right.
anyway.
Why not?
And I'll go against him at the hardest difficulty, I guess.
Why not?
Just full send.
You've had some time off. You just got to jump right back into it, right?
That is also how I've been describing my last couple weeks as time off.
Yeah. It's been... You told us about your day. We know what you did.
That's true. That's very accurate. Listen, Chicago dogs are great.
All right.
All right, so in addition to that, during the ultimate encounter, the crisis team activates only 2 characters on each of their turns instead of the normal 3. So this is kind of one of the few differences that we've seen in the initial mission setup compared to other organized play kits, where normally you're activating 3 until you have activated, I think, 9 characters, and then any character above that just gets a short move.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, there's a lot here, and it seems like... Okay, so here's another one. Ways to score victory points. Doctor, do you have that up? Are you able to run down the different victory point conditions for the crisis team?
Sure can, Jerry. All right, so the whole point of it is when either one of the teams is doing anything, they both take the cameras into consideration. If I remember correctly, I think only Spider-Man can put the cameras down, I think.
I believe so as well.
I think that he's the only one that can do it. But essentially, while the Spider-Foe people are running around terrorizing people, they score through that, and also by messing with Spider-Man by making the cameras take pictures of him. And then Parker's trying to do the exact opposite to them. He's trying to daze them within line of sight of the cameras. So Sprung, the crisis team immediately scores 3 victory points each time a congoer token is removed from the game by a trap. So that's essentially what the leadership is for. So you're trying to move because I think the leadership moves the congoers.
Correct.
Right, and you're trying to get the congoers to run into the traps, essentially. So that's how that whole thing works. And then I think Spider-Man can do stuff to interfere with that. Next is Smile. When a character is dazed, so both sides in this case, the opposing team immediately scores 3 victory points. The opposing team scores 1 additional victory point if the dazed character is within line of sight of the camera. So not only are you punching each other, you're trying to get it on, you're trying to take like WWE shots of it while you're stalking each other in the face.
Well, the crowd is going wild trying to escape.
The congoers they're screaming not for the fun, they're screaming for their lives. Next one is Knockout Shot. So when a character would be KO'd, the opposing team immediately scores 1 victory point. The opposing team scores 1 additional victory point if the character is KO'd within the line of sight of a camera. So the exact same thing.
And this is actually very, very important with KOing characters. So the crisis team can't have their characters KO'd. Granted, the crisis threat can get victory points for it, but if a crisis team member would be KO'd, they instead remove 4 damage, not all of it, but 4 damage, and then gain the stagger special condition.
Right. I also think Pete can't be knocked out.
Also correct.
Right. So in this case, it's this one you win on victory points, unlike some of the other ones where it's just you punch the other people to death.
Well, and I think maybe that was something, I don't know if they've learned from or they just wanted to make a different experience where you can play the objectives or you try to murder bot your opponent. And I mean, that's kind of MCP as a whole, but I do like that there is not just a kill condition here.
Right.
They are trying to do something specific. They don't want to kill Spider-Man. They want to make sure everyone knows who he is.
Yeah. And then Camera Foo. So friendly neighborhood Spider-Man has additional powers and attacks that help him score victory points. These are on the character card. So these are, I don't know why they put them in both spots, but they are the exact same on the card. So Say Cheese is a physical attack, range 2, strength 6, 3 power. Before choosing the target, you get to choose if it's physical or energy. If this attack dazes or KOs the target character and the character is within line of sight of the camera, you score an additional victory point. So I'm assuming these will stack. So if I'm looking at this right, if you daze a character within line of sight, you could potentially score 5? 3 for the daze, 1 for being within line of sight of the camera, and then I think you get another extra one for Say Cheese, because I'm assuming it's because Spidey's posing, and that's the kind of pick. That's the kind of picks JJ likes. And then you also,
I saw.
And then you also get a. You know what? Let me finish. And then you get a trigger, a crit trigger called Flashy. The target character does not gain power for the damage dealt, so you kind of give him like a stun. Okay, now go ahead.
I saw a bit today on one of the many Spider-Man and Moon Knight meme groups that I'm in that had a segment of J. Jonah Jameson in limbo where demons were telling him to get to yell. They wanted him to yell tasty pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw that one this morning. That was good. Okay, and then he also gets a reactive power called Selfie. So at the start of the cleanup phase, if this character is within range 2 of 1 or more dazed enemy characters, they may use this superpower. Its controlling player immediately scores a victory point. It's very similar to Interrogate, which it's kind of come up because of Spider-Woman, but as far as I'm aware, it's exactly the same.
So and
it costs 3 power.
And just because this question was in chat, so there is a specified base size. So you will be using the Amazing Spider-Man base for this. It is the 35 millimeter base, because that could play a huge role in exactly how much stuff Juggernaut can destroy. So in addition to that, as far as the con goers, they are trying to escape. So not only can the Cosmic Team interact with them, but so can the Cosmic Threat player by actually very similarly placing a con goer within one of its current position using an interact option. The Crisis Team can do the same thing, but only if it is not within 2 of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, then they can place it. So Spider-Man can do it at any time. Oh, you want core? Listen, I don't literally know how sizes work. Is Amazing Spider-Man 50? Is 35 considered a small base in general, Dr. D?
I don't know the base sizes for MCP because they are not that complicated.
Okay, so you do want the core then. Thank you, Ravensguard.
Why would they use the ASM art?
Great question. Because it's awesome art?
Because ASM, I think, was him supposed to be older, so I would think that Daily Bugle time would be when he's still 18-ish.
Oh, 65 is large, 50 is medium.
That's the medium.
35 is small. Okay. All right, so so you're using Core Box Spider-Man. Good thing there's a new affiliation pack coming out if you don't have the Core Box and you want to be able to play this.
I'm sure that was timed.
Yep. I would not be shocked there. So also the traps. So they're targets, of opportunity. There's 3 of them. They are located kind of in a triangle around the center stage. And these traps have been hidden throughout the con by the Crisis Team in an effort to wreak havoc. If at any time a con goer is within range 1 of a trap, the trap is sprung. The con goer is removed from the game and the Crisis Team scores 3 victory points. After a trap is sprung, the Crisis Team must place it in a new location. Place the trap anywhere on the battlefield, not within range 4 of a con goer. So not only can you get 12, right? No, 9 from these out of the gate. They then reset as well, and you can put them out there to be a constant threat.
Now, I forget, when does this one end? I don't think it's
13.
13.
Okay.
Is what is on this this really nifty score-based card, right? Huh? I think I counted that right. Yeah, 13.
And it's funny, ending the encounter, one is eviction notice. If the crisis team scores 13 or more victory points, they immediately win. And then Spider Con Forever, if the cosmic threat player scores 13 or more victory points, they immediately win. So I like the title, like eviction notice, rent is due.
I really like that
the
as
theme.
well.
I appreciate a good theme.
Same. Well, and it's all about the story and the narrative, right?
Yeah.
They're really kind of knocking it out of the park at this one.
Yeah.
So there are kind of a bunch of different rules in this set as far as how the line of sight works for the cameras. There is a notch that you can see here. I'll actually punch this bad boy out too.
Violence.
Right, it looks like a Pac-Man, kind of.
Nom, nom,
Like
nom.
Waka Waka. And the notch is what it has line of sight. So that is what you're kind of measuring from to make sure if a dazed Spider-Man or a crisis team member is going to be generating that additional victory points. They've made it actually very, very clear. And it's not even like a little tiny notch. It's pretty deep. It goes like almost, not quite halfway through, but like halfway through the particular token. Which looks to be a 2-inch token, or 1.5 maybe, as far as things go. And honestly, that seems to be the majority of it. Is there something that you guys are seeing that I've missed pretty heavily?
I like the art on the front. I think that's either Ramos or Dan Slott. They have very similar art styles.
Yeah, I also really like the cover art for this. Looks really stellar. And one thing too, in the booklet that comes with the kit, I do like that they have reiterated all of the ways, even the ones that are on character cards, in one place on how they score victory points.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the past that has been split up based on which side you're on. It might be on the crisis team side or the crisis threat side, but having kind of one general place for it that's normally going to be in the hands of the person running it, or a TO, or a game store owner, or something along those lines, kind of makes that a little bit easier. As far as characters that you would want to bring against the crisis threat in this particular scenario, who is your 10? Are you keeping it thematic with something like the Kingpin, Rhino, and Bullseye, or are you getting weird with it?
I think speed is the name of the game on this one,
Mm-hmm.
for both of them. I think Rhino in this one's gonna be crazy good.
Yeah, I do
For
too.
sure.
That maneuverability, being able to interact at an end of a move, is going to be able to have him place con-goers on a very regular basis. Juggernaut, same thing. While expensive, still, yeah, very much so.
And then I think any character that's gonna have something like hit and run is probably gonna be really good. So like a Green Goblin, again, pretty thematic in that case.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to pick 10, I'd probably do Rhino, Gobbo, and I don't know, maybe Bullseye.
Yeah, another hit and run, right?
Yep.
Uh,
Staying mobile. That's what you want.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot, and I like that there's, like we said before, you can go after Spider-Man and try to get him within line of sight of stuff. Characters with throws will probably be very, very useful here. Axel Bullet in chat said Venom, Carnage, and Honey Badger.
Yeah.
I
like that a lot.
Yeah.
Good one.
Especially because he's got really beefy stats. 5-4-3 for physical, energy, and mystic. Listen, Dylan, Wizards might be a good spot for him.
Yeah, you got to shoot him in the brain. Can't dodge that. Can't dodge with your brain, idiot. Spider-Man, you dummy. We actually should probably go over the character card. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, there is. So, and the character card is in fact on screen for those of you watching the YouTube version. So friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, 10 stamina, long movement, range, or a size 2 ultimate encounter for threat, 5-4-3 for defenses. He's also immune to root, stagger, and stun. Dylan went over say cheese, but how about thwip thwip, which is not shorthand for totally honest work in progress, which is something that you should detail, especially when joining a painting competition, and it might even be part of the rules.
Mm-hmm. So you got to say it the right way. So that's how you're supposed to say it. Anyway, I don't know if that goes through the microphone very well.
It does.
It did.
I love it.
Loud and clear.
It's perfect.
My ears somehow are very wet.
Never change.
You're all webbed up, baby. All right, so Thwip is range 4, which is pretty good for a builder. Strength 5, very good. So hey, guess what? If you do damage with it, you get power.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat. There's a wild trigger called Stick Around. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains slow. If they already have slow, they gain root. So this is kind of an interesting take on the ASM leadership.
Yeah.
So you give out slow. In that one, it does a place, but in this one, it does a root, which against certain characters, root is devastating.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
actually very good.
Especially a character like Rhino.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know if people would be using him here, but Mr. Sinister actually really hates root when he wants to use his tokens.
Yep.
Anyone with a nice punch, making that cost 2 instead, is actually a really great way to deal with them.
Loki loves it, let me tell you. Okay, so then say cheese. We already went through it. It's the one where you want to. That's the one that you want to do the knockout punch on, and then you get extra points for it. I love this one. I love the name. There goes the Spider-Man, which is a 2-power active power, and place this character within 3 of its current position. The next time it makes a thwip attack this turn, the target character. If the target character is within 3, the character adds 3 dice to the attack roll. This can only be used once per turn. This is obviously very similar to a web swing, except it's obviously uber powered up compared to the normal one. Then you have Don't Be a Stranger, which is a what is this? That's passive.
It's an active.
It isn't. Oh, that is active. Duh. I'm stupid. All right, yeah. Don't Be a Stranger, which is active. Choose an enemy character within range 3 and throw it towards this character medium. This superpower can only be used once per turn. So this is very similar to Venom's web snare as opposed to the line. So this Spider-Man can do both, which is awesome.
I like how you throw it towards this character medium.
So you might bonk yourself.
Right?
But hopefully not.
You might just be bonking yourself in front of a camera, in front of a whole bunch of con-goers. Might not be the best.
But you do 1 damage to them.
That's true. You need to finish someone off? Yeah, guess what? You can't, because they're about to heal 4 and get stagger.
Use your noggin. Pull them towards you and slam them in the head with your own noggin. Next one is the reactive selfie, which is the same one. You get extra power, which is interrogate, essentially. Then you have some innates called What a Rush. During the power phase, this character gains an additional power, which is perfect because most of his powers already cost 2. So that's excellent. And then, of course, he has Mastered Spidey Sense. This character may reroll any number of defense or dodge dice, which is obviously amazing, especially when your physical defense is 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Real good. And then he has Wall Crawler, because he is, in fact, the Wall Crawler.
Now, Danny, how about his injured side?
Well, significantly different. So he goes down to 4 health with a medium movement, still size 2. Defenses stay the same at 5, 4, 3, but instead of any kind of like attacks or anything, he's got nothing. He's got Thinking Fast, which is 3 power. Choose a con-goer token within 2 of this character. Place this character within 1 of the chosen token. Then place the chosen con-goer within 1 of this character. So kind of like shuffling.
Yeah.
I assume away, because if you get to this side, you probably want to be away. But
or to at least to be out of range of a camera.
Right.
Like just any type of shuffling.
Yeah, just to move, which is.
And if you were to stay on that side for multiple days, I forget the MCP podcast that was talking about it. I think it was LMFAO. If you stay on that side multiple days in a row, then every day you'll be shuffling.
Oh, shuffling. He's also got Cosmic Threat, which is an innate, right?
Yeah.
Is that what that's called? Okay. This character cannot be KO'd. If it would be KO'd, the Crisis team scores 1 victory point. Then remove all damage and special conditions from this character, which is kind of nice. So again, like you guys were saying before, you just can't be taken off the field. He's also got Mastered Spidey Sense. He can still reroll any number of his defense or dodge dice, and he's got Secret Identity. If this character ends its activation and it is not in line of sight of a camera, it may flip its stat card to its healthy side. Do not remove any damage or special conditions from this character.
I like
so that's the point of the
it.
Thinking Fast.
Yeah.
Get out of view of the camera, then you can flip back.
You get around the corner, you find a paper bag. You know what? You're back in the game.
Yeah, I'm in it. Nobody knows who I am.
Danny, how about you? So what characters are you bringing to this particular?
So I find I am the most successful, and I saw this when I played Taylor, when I have a lot of bodies on the field. So I think that I would kind of go more, a 3, a couple 2s to kind of like round that out so that it's just a lot to contend with and a lot to deal with. And I think that if you're paired up with someone who is taking a more like conventional list, I think that having that like 1-2 tag team of like, all right, I have a lot of like mobility and I'm that kind of thing, and then just I physically have 5 2s that you have to contend with. I just like messing people up. So I know somebody mentioned Honey Badger in there, which I I'm all about.
I really like Honey Badger in there too, especially with those defenses. I mean, being able, if you have Honey Badger and some wizards,
Yeah, right.
being able to turn that that 3 to a 2, maybe with an Incinerate as well, which he's not immune to. Then he's only rolling 1 against Mystic attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's stellar.
Yep. I'm Black Widow, Bullseye, Okoye. Throw them in there.
Plus, they can't be knocked out permanently, which is the weakness of teams.
Give me a Toad.
I mean, Rocket is
Rocket.
someone I really like there as a 2 with a super long range that isn't just going to get wiped off the board.
Yep. And if you wanted to throw a 3, I'd probably go Black Cat, I think.
I like Black Cat.
Okay.
She wouldn't be able to make use of the long mover and a stagger. Is he immune to stagger?
Yes.
He is.
Yeah,
but still, a long move and elusive, and some guaranteed damage for the most part with her spender. But yeah, I don't hate that.
I don't think Felicia would do that to Pete.
I mean,
Immersion's broken.
Yeah. Is he immune to slow? I believe it is.
Root, stagger, and stun.
Yeah, so you can slow that boy.
Yeah.
That's super interesting. Loki might be good there. Okay. Loki with a little Loki tax and some slows. He is slow in his ice beam, right?
Yep.
Cross beam.
You have to do damage though.
Gotcha.
yeah. Bring Amazing Spider-Man against them.
Yeah, why not?
That's a good idea.
All right.
Be Spider-Man.
So Loki. Here's my roster, right? Loki, and wait, no, never mind. I was thinking the Soul Gem had a Loki tax. What's the other thing that gives a Loki tax? Oh, it's Root. Root. What's that?
Yeah, it's Root in his tax.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which he can't be rooted, so it's just the tax. That's the only way to make those things more expensive.
I mean, if you're running around doing like if you get 2 power every turn, you're going to be able to. There goes the Spider-Man every turn, at least Webline, or something, for essentially just because you can, and then you're going to be swinging at least 7 dice. I mean, he's going to be building power. You can only imagine.
Yeah. Yep. So I was trying to think, it's like maybe you run some saps against him, but yeah, I don't think at the end of the day it's really going to do all that much. But slow, I think is pretty stellar. Forced movement as well, especially since he's moving so much. Running something similar to Shane Smith's Spider Foes, that was like 4 different types of traps.
So you got Mysterio, Goblin,
Rocket,
the Sinister Trap card,
Cassandra Nova,
yep.
Who also has Mystic attacks, which he's not super stellar against. Are there any characters that remove your ability to, like symbiote tendrils or something like that? Are there other effects like that aren't physical?
Mystique. She has all physical. Emma, actually. When she comes out, she'll be all mystic. Yeah, Emma. Oh man, Pete hates Emma.
Yeah, for real.
Hates Emma.
Well, I mean, how unfair is that though, right? You got Emma Frost there, or even Jean Grey or Cassandra Nova. You have a bunch of just thugs being like, yeah, we got to figure out who this guy is. And they're just like, oh yeah, I know his credit card number. He's thinking about it right now. Like,
let's go after his family.
I know he's hoping to rush this because he has to go to the bathroom real quick. And
who else would he? Who else? I feel like there's one more person that gets around reactives.
Well, not necessarily reactives, but just defensive rerolls to get rid of that spider sense.
Domino makes it so you can't do crits at least.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Black Cat, you can't modify attack rolls against her, or you can't modify your defense dice against her.
It's only attacks against.
Only attacks against her.
Yeah.
Okay. Malekith doesn't seem inexpensive, for sure, but Malekith and Luke Cage, or Malekith and, I mean, because, you know what I mean, you're not really paying attention to affiliation abilities here. I don't hate Sam Wilson either. A pretty decent range with the shield throw, can carry people into range, and then they're both ending movements, right? I don't know if that...
It's a good idea.
So, like, how does that affiliation ability work with that exactly? So once per turn... Oh, okay, so only ever once per turn. When an allied character ends an advance specifically, you may pay 2, and then it may place a congoer 2 away from its current position.
What was the cost? Did it have a cost?
What? Moving the congoer?
Yeah, the leadership.
The leadership does. It's 2 power.
You pay 2, right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And only once per turn. So So I mean, if you're trying to do a bunch of shenanigans, well, you can still interact with the congoer because there's still
you can move them one.
Yeah, you can move them one afterwards. And to be able to use the interact option, they have to be outside of range 2 of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So if you move up there, you're within range. You spend the 2, get it out of that range, so then you can actually interact with it afterwards. Yeah, anyone with free move. I mean, Star-Lord actually seems like he might be stellar here with hit and run.
That would cost 3 power though.
Yeah. Yep.
Just interact, you would need 1. And really, it's interesting because the only way to really build power in this is just to stand there and exist for a turn, or you have to hit PD.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not like you can build off of grunts or something.
Right.
You have to attack somebody that is very hard to hit.
Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of balanced in that way, where I don't think very many people are going to have great power generation outside of just having good power generation, like your Asgardian type stuff, which maybe have a mobile Asgardian just running around moving people might not be a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think Cassandra Nova and Enchantress are both really good here. Mr. Sinister as well, being able to move Peter into a spot that's within line of sight to potentially be dazed and have all those kind of additional triggers and stuff go off. Seems like it could be a cool way to do it.
Actually, honestly, that really lends more to Bullseye because again, his is a gainer.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even have to hit him. You're just like, yeah, that's cool. Whatever you throw a half frozen Pop-Tart or whatever, and you get a power.
Half frozen Pop-Tart.
Those things are dangerous.
They really are. I don't know if you've ever been hit with a half frozen Pop-Tart.
I haven't.
But the half frozen part hurts really bad, right? Okay. And then the unfrozen part just kind of goes everywhere. It's the worst of both worlds.
So like you hurt and you have to clean up a mess now.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I have an anecdote that I'll maybe tell. I probably won't, but I might tell. That's incredibly good. Please remind me about cleaning up awful messes on the cleanup phase right after this. If you're a member of the Patreon, maybe you'll get to hear it as well. It's awful. It's awful what happened yesterday. But yeah. Well, I think that's going to bring us to the end of the episode for this week. Like I just said, there will be a brand new episode of the cleanup phase right after this. It's over on the Patreon, patreon.com/professional casual at every level. As little as $1 gets you access to the cleanup phase, in addition to the Discord and a whole lot more. Also, if you are ever in the Twitch chat, we do have a freemium version of the Discord now as well that you can enter if you type in the command !Discord. That will get you that invite and link. You can also check that out in the show notes if you're listening to the podcast version. 5-star reviews do an absolute wonderful amount of things for us. So if you have the time, have the attention span, please head over to Spotify for a rating, Audible, Apple Music, or any other place that you can leave reviews. JB likes to leave them on most of the Amazon products he buys. Listen, it doesn't hurt.
And the steward's bathroom stall.
That's true. Yep, he keeps leaving the network number there too.
I know.
Speaking of, if you ever want to give us a ring and leave a voicemail that we might play on an episode of any one of our podcasts, you can do so at 603-803. Nope, sorry. Was that right?
Yep.
Oh, 603-803-3235.
Call it.
Or the P.O. Box at P.O. Box G, as in G. Willikers. This looks like a fun organized play kit. West Oneonta, New York, 13861. Lastly, a massive thank you to all of the people that help support us on the Patreon and here on Twitch. Every sub, like, follow, share does a ton for us. We really appreciate it, and we couldn't do what we do without you, especially our patrons at the Professional Cake Sitter and King Ding Doppeldonger tiers, including Bastion, Rob, Otis, Leroy, Bicon, Tony Hot Hands, Devil Pup, Dr. D, Iron Maze, Wizard Skills.
That's a new one.
Cider Drinker. Dagna.
Yeah.
Is that all of them?
Yep.
And Cider Drinker.
And Cider Drinker.
And Cider Drinker, naturally, yeah.
But guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. We'll see you next week, hopefully, for the Power Phase on Monday night, where we'll be playing this organized play kit. Hope to see you then again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday during the World of Warcraft streams every Tuesday through Friday, 3 p.m. till, whenever I have to leave, usually 6. Thursday for another episode of Wait Did I Roll a Wild, and next Saturday at Bearded Dragon Games. Make sure to check out the Longshanks and the Facebook for the event. So it's an LVO qualifier. Come have a good time. Play against, Taylor, Dan, Dr. D, Ben, Alyssa. By the way, voted, not even voted, but earned best in affiliation for Inhumans at LVO. But
Good
guys,
for her.
yeah,
I know a celebrity.
Right? she's famous. But guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And make sure professionalcasual.com. Check out Dr. D's blogs. Dan had a new blog go up today for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Also, the Lost Omens podcast comes out every Monday. Get the video for all of the actual plays on the Patreon as well at the $5 tier and up. Gapapa, Slithering, Settling the Southlands. Guys, there's a ton. It's all on professionalcasual.com, and that is the place to check it out. But
No, I'm lucky.
no, I'm lucky. All right, guys, have a great night. I love you, and we'll see you very, very shortly over on the Patreon for the cleanup phase. All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.